Hello everybody and welcome to this third episode of Hacking the Relativity CTF Challenge, which is a really cool challenge. We started with a SQL injection on the FTP service. We leveraged a local file inclusion to get remote code execution on the server, and we found a private key. I'm going to copy it, paste it locally. I don't need FTP. Let's call it ID mock and paste in. Oh, that's not the clipboard I want. I want this one. Paste anyway. Let's change the permissions to 400 for our private key because we want to protect it, right? It's just because we can't connect to an SSH server if it's not protected. Okay, now we are trying to connect within this user mock to ctf21.rootme.org, and let's use the -i option and specify our private key, and let's see what we get. Boom! We are inside the machine with a really comfortable interactive SSH shell as the user mock. You see, we didn't need any reverse shell. We already have one. Okay, we are in. Now, what we should do? Well, always do your enumeration. So, the first thing I want to do is, well, maybe read the content of the bash history file, because maybe this user has something interesting. Okay, so we have an SSH, say remote port forwarding of the service that's running on the port 6667. What do we have in 6667? netstat-plant and grep for some listen. Yeah, indeed, we have a service running 6667. We also have MySQL, which is running and listening just locally. I wonder what do we have here, because apparently we didn't really have any credentials on the web server. Let's just verify this real quick so that all our files are located here for the web server. And I'm just going to grep inside those files to see if there is something like password. Okay. So we have something in HTTP authorized. I don't see anything like SQL. Or maybe the port number or connection string. Connection because of the browser. What else? Something like PDO for connecting using PHP. No. Maybe username, something like that. Oh, what did I do? No, actually, I need to escape the $sign. Come on. Nope. So it seems that we don't have any credentials. Let's see if we can access nonetheless using the root user. Generally, with the default configuration, it's using a dummy, an empty password. Access denied. Okay. What process is running SQL? So MySQLD, I guess it's run by user MySQL. Let's try with user MySQL here. And maybe with an empty okay. Empty password with the username MySQL gets us into the server, the database. So show databases, please. Okay, we have a test database. Now let's list the tables. Oh, bummer. We have nothing here. Okay, quit. What did we do before? Yeah, so we were looking for this service here, 6667. I wonder what this is. Port 6667. IRC. Okay. Let's try to netcat to that. So localhost 6667. Okay, netcat not found. Well, maybe we can use some kind of port forwarding to achieve our result. I mean, we can copy a netcat on the machine, or we can also reuse our own netcat, which is hosted locally. And to do that, let's try with a local port forward or a remote. What do we need? We need actually a local port forward. So the syntax, I guess, is local, and then we want to forward 6667 to localhost 6667 on that machine. Let's see if we can achieve this. Okay, we are connected. I'm going to use another shell prompt from my current machine to try to reach the service running on the remote server. So that would be netcat-v localhost 6667. And yep, we have something here. Looking up your host name couldn't resolve your host name per IP address, but this seems like an IRC. Yeah, so this is TCP IRCD succeeded. Okay, so you know what? Let's look for an IRC client and see if we can interact with this service. But before we do that, I want to see if we can look for that in the running processes. Do we have anything here that's running IRC? Maybe use a grep. Yep, we have one here. So it's under opt opt unreal source IRCD, and it's run with the user jetta. Okay, that's the second user we had in a home directory. Okay, and we don't have access to his home directory. So I guess the next step would be to escalate our privileges using IRC. Okay, what is this unreal source IRCD? Okay, permission denied. What do we have under OPT? Unreal, which is owned by Jetta, and we don't have access to it. Okay, we already know that it's something related to Unreal. So let's Google that. Unreal IRC, IRCD exploit. So backdoor command execution. This module exploits a malicious backdoor that was added to Unreal IRCD 3.2.8.1 download archive. But do we have, what version do we have? I'm not sure we have the version mentioned here in the banner. Looking up your host name, couldn't resolve your host name. That's a bummer. How do we get access to that info? We don't have access to the folder of IRCD, hence we don't have access to... maybe we can find something not in OPT. So name would contain IRCD maybe, or IRC. And let's look for that kind of file. So we have var log IRCD log. That looks promising. Let's see if we have the rights to list. Nope, it's owned by root and we can't access it. Okay. What about this one? Let's actually see if we can access this one. Yeah, we can read it. Okay, let's do that. So it's trying to run RC as a service using this user, but we have nothing that hints of the correct version. We have here something that's not related to IRC, and yeah, we don't have. Yeah, we have something here, but it's related to the service. I'm not sure if it contains anything interesting. You know what? I'm going to interact with this using a IRC client. Why not? So let's look for an IRC client here. Internet Relay Chat client. Okay. Download. Let's download it. I hope it's not backdoored. You know what? I'm not going to really risk running this exe on my machine. Is there like a netcat client that I can use? IRC. So we have a gist here. Okay, what does this script actually do? So we're defining the port number, the server, in our case that would be localhost, and then it's trying to send those commands, nickname, user, join this channel, and send a private message to this channel. And for every line we send, we prepend priv message to send this message to the channel. Okay, and then we use netcat to actually run that. All right, let's copy this. And paste it in our local machine. That would be, let's name it IRC client, IRCLI, why not? And paste the content. Let's VI and change the content of that file. IRCLI. We don't need those comments. The nickname, we don't care. What we want here is to change this to 127.0.0.1. And then we don't need the rest of the host name. The channel, I don't really need to connect to a channel. I just want to interact with the service. Let's leave it as it is. And here, if the line contains priv message, then we do some formatting. Otherwise, we just echo the line with a ignore text. I'm really interested in this one, so I'm going to uncomment it, save it, change it to an executable, and run it. Okay, so we are connected to the IRC server from our local machine through the local port forwarding to the remote machine. That's really cool. Okay, so what do we have here? And little do you know, it's our lucky day. Unreal 3.2.8.1, which is the exact exploit we have here. We are very lucky. So there is a MSF module which you can just use, like show targets and set target and options and exploit. And here is the source code, because I always want to learn how an exploit works. Now, this is a backdoor that was introduced in a vulnerable version, so I'm really curious to know how it works. And you should also have this mindset, because that would allow you to reuse the idea behind the exploit without really using Metasploit. Because I don't have Metasploit installed in my local machine, and I don't want to install it just to run this exploit. So what does it do? Def exploit, it tries to connect, I guess, with a socket and using the remote host and the port. And then it's trying to grab the banner, and then it prints the banner. Okay. Send in backdoor command. Okay. So this is what's getting sent. AB semicolon and then payload dot encoded. Is this really it? We just need to send AB and then semicolon and then the content of what we want. Well, let's try this. AB semicolon, and let's create a file under temp directory. Let's call it the hackerish, and wait. Nope, we have nothing. Oh, no text to send. Well, I guess that's because we already sent this one. Okay, let's go back to our remote host. So here we are on the remote host, not the local machine. I wonder if we have the file, the hackerish, on the under the. Nope, we don't have it. It hasn't been created. Maybe we need to add a semicolon at the end. Hackerish. Let's verify this time. ls temp th. No such file directory. Okay, let's analyze this exploit a bit more. So we connect to the IRC service. We send nothing but AB semicolon. So I guess we need to tweak our script here. IRC ally. I think we don't need to send anything. Like, the first thing we need to send is literally AB semicolon and then our command. Well, I think we can do that with netcat. I mean, I can do echo netcat AB touch temp the hackerish and semicolon, and pipe this through to our remote server, which has exposed the port of the IRC locally. Okay. Let's verify on the remote host. Temp the. Yes, it was created, and it was created with the user jetta or jetta. Okay. I think we are onto something here. So how can we leverage this access to actually elevate our privileges to Jetta? Well, this is what we're going to discover in the next video. Make sure to subscribe to this channel and hit the ring bell to get notified when the video gets live. As always, stay curious, keep learning, and go find some bugs.